folks. Doing cool things, Alex Rodriguez. Before I get started real quick, guys, where does he need to be, guys?
Kind of by the brown line, lighting.
Oh yeah, I can't even see that. So, before I get started though, real quick, how many of you guys have actually had your own internship experiences throughout your career? Quite a few. Yeah, okay, that's good. So then hopefully this will really resonate with you because I'm actually pretty glad I got to go after her talking about personal branding because what I'm going to kind of go after is how I've come to now find my own brand. So it all started last year when I was a junior, ending my junior year in college. I had no clicker down pointing towards the
there's an on button on the side.
stand one place.
I can push the button. There we go.
I'm going to tell you guys my story. It was the end of my junior year, and I was, ending my college career, so I needed to figure out what I'm going to do once I graduate. I had no regular field experience with my industry. I was studying IT, so there's obviously lots of jobs out there, but as a college student, it's pretty hard to get into those jobs unless you're working for your university or something like that. I was an average student, A's and B's. I did the one extracurricular activity that I went into was actually starting my own fraternity. So that was a lot of work, and it definitely was something to show off, but it didn't make me look too special compared to a lot of the super nerds out there. So the biggest problem I had was actually I started looking for internships probably at the beginning of my junior year. And it wasn't until the end of that year that I actually got a response from somebody who was interested in, at least interviewing. So I found this company. It was a very small marketing firm in town that did some website development, and that was what type of person they were looking for. I went through my interview. It was actually a two-part interview. The first part was with the art director, the person I'd be working directly under, and that was really tough. And so I was very intimidated after that one, wondering what the next one was going to be like, where I was being interviewed by the owner of the place. And then I got kind of thrown for a loop when we went to our interview and we spent about an hour talking about empowered women in the workplace and my love for dogs. The first interview was really rigorous, and I actually had to do some testing, to show them that I was legit and could do what they needed to do. But then I got to the first question that the owner asked me was how I feel about empowered women. And obviously, there's plenty of good things about empowered women. There's no reason to be against empowered women in the workplace. And that was about all I could come up with on the spot. So then it went to dogs, and I felt, I had an easy time to test. So it got me hired. I was excited. Here comes the experience that I've been looking for and needing, just so that way when I graduate, hopefully I'll be more of a candidate for a job. And so initially it was said that I would work 10 to 15 hours per week, minimum wage, which was kind of surprising because even most high school programmers get paid more than minimum wage when they start doing technical work. But I wasn't going to complain because I just needed the experience. Minimal training too. There was no one else on their team who had done any programming and stuff like that. So it was definitely going to be a learning experience for me in the sense that I was going to be teaching myself how to do a lot of the work that needed done. And yes, there had been already months of work waiting for me when I was hired. So instantly I kind of felt a lot of pressure. This was going to be my time to find out if I was going to have what it takes to shine like a diamond, or I would probably go crazy like a basket case. So I decided to stick with it. It helped me in so many ways, but some of the most important was that I was continuing to teach myself how to learn, learning how to manage time better, and then there was the promise of a part-time employment should the internship go well. Things went well. I spent the entire summer plowing through all the work they asked me to do, making good connections and bonds with the people that I was working with, and it seemed most people were all for having me on the team. But then, 6 months later, the end of the summer happens, they decide to hire me on part-time. Then 3 months after that, a bomb drops. half of the staff in 1 week walked out. And those people were an account executive and then both of the designers for the company. So this really scared the crap out of me. Here I am as a college student, nobody getting paid minimum wage for a company that is now losing half of its employees. What was I going to do? I decided I was going to stick with it. The reason why is because it was going to be the best learning, it has been the best learning experience I've ever had. As soon as those things happened, the boss came to me and said, we need to talk, we need to figure out how we're going to handle the situation. And, it came down to the fact that if I was going to be staying, I was going to be getting a lot more responsibility. And some of those things were, actually getting to manage clients, do more design, multimedia things outside of what I traditionally do, that I like doing, involvement with the company, and more importantly, I was actually being looked at to help kind of reform the company, because obviously something went wrong with all these people leaving. So I was going to actually be able to play a role on, either shifting gears on how this company went with their business, or just trying to restructure, finding people to replace what we had lost. So even more pressure came on. I was taking 18 credit hours at school. What turned into my part-time 15 to 20 hours definitely wasn't after having all these additional responsibilities put on me. It was more like 25 to 30. And then the worst part came in was that now that all these people had left, I was working directly with the owner of the company, right underneath her. And unfortunately, she had no idea even what a web page was. She didn't know what HTML was. She didn't even know how to talk to her clients that she was selling websites to. She had no understanding of what I needed to do my job and what it takes to do it well. So then I spent the last 6 months up until the end of my senior year with lots of micromanagement. And anybody who programs and does things like that will tell you you basically can't do anything. I was spending more time in meetings trying to explain to my boss what it was I needed to do than actually doing it. So, back to the pressure. It was definitely on there, and it kept getting tighter and tighter and tighter. But, like I said, I stuck through it. Got to the end of the semester. They had wanted to talk about hiring me full-time, but I decided to go look at other opportunities. And I even came across a few opportunities that looked pretty attractive to me. But then I decided to kind of hold on to the brakes and just take a pause for a second. And then become another statistic, which is this one. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, I don't really have to explain this, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that most people who are getting a four-year degree now are having lots of trouble finding jobs. There's multiple reasons that I'll definitely get into. But what is it that needs enhancing then? Is it the experiences that we are giving to these students as they're going through their career, trying to develop themselves? That's scaring them away, that's giving them a bad taste in their mouth. It could be, but it probably isn't. The bigger picture is this. I don't have to tell you guys, unemployment is at its highest right now. This statistic only goes up to 2009, but we all know that it hasn't gotten much better. Why is that? Well, there was the recession. A lot of these big name companies that are recruiting students out of college aren't even having the funds to hire more people now, so that definitely would contribute to something that is causing a decrease in employment of college students. The other thing, I think, with the most important impact has been on the job market is just the invention of the internet. Obviously, we've gotten rid of lots of jobs that people have had because we can either outsource them or the internet offers such a fast medium to be able to just remove middlemen and actual people doing the work. So because of that, the New York Times this year has just said that the formal market has shifted only to 20% of what's going on. So how do we fix this? How do we make sure that there are college students who are graduating, getting degrees, getting a useful education? How do we actually get them to create jobs? There is no degree program that you go to where you graduate and you can start making jobs. it's really, it's really more of a personal choice that you take to do yourself. So my solution, and this is pretty extreme, but what if we encourage students, today's students, which is tomorrow's workforce, to find and do what they love? It sounds simple, but it's obviously going to be much harder than just saying that to them and helping them. What's the worst thing that could happen if we decided to push this onto students a little bit more? Well, we would have all these awesome products by these really crazy people who have made things that we love and can't even get away from. And it's certainly created lots of jobs. I mean, Apple is now the largest company in the world, and Microsoft has employed thousands, if not millions, of people. So it's coming to a conclusion. It's kind of safe to say that today's world and the formal workforce, formal recruiting that employers and colleges use, it's not getting people hired. It's not keeping students interested in finding jobs that they're going to actually keep and retain and have a passion about. So instead, most of people when they graduate, they find jobs like this. And this was the same reason why I made that choice after my internship / job to kind of just not even go after a job right now. And that's what's actually led me to, has brought me here to talk to you about this experience is do what you love and love what you do. If we can start getting, start teaching students that the emphasis should not be on getting A's on your papers and passing your classes, but more or less just trying new things, getting experiences, maybe not internships, but just smaller experiences with companies, making connections early on to test the waters. I mean, it's pretty odd, everybody knows that when you go to college, you change your major maybe 4 or 5 times. So if we can get people to see that if you do what you love, you love what you do, there are plenty of jobs for